And Steve Scalise joins us live. Good morning to you, sir.
Steve, good morning. Good to be with you.
It was 1 year ago today that at a ball yard, just a couple of miles from where we're sitting, you were right back there at 7:08 in the morning, and then a guy who was trying to kill as many Republicans as he could started shooting.
Yeah, it was a surreal moment. The first shot, I didn't think, thinking a gunshot. But by the second one, and Trent Kelly's over at third, that was the first person he tried to shoot at. Trent's running, yelling, shooter, and so at that point, we're all kind of moving around, and then I get hit.
You did get hit. You were right just past second base, and you were conscious, and you were crawling to save your life.
Yeah, I just started crawling, and then my arms gave out and couldn't do anything at that point, so just started to pray. And said a lot of prayers, and through the grace of God and the marvels of medicine, I'm here.
Your teammates, a lot of them were, everybody was scattering, trying to get as far away from the shooter as possible. A number of them were in the dugout, and they saw you, but you were pinned down, and there was nothing they could do.
Yeah, for a while there was a shootout. My Capitol Police security detail, David Bailey and Crystal Griner, were there, and they both started engaging the shooter, and that took him away from shooting at us. And he hit both of them, but they kept at it. They kept going, and then 3 Virginia police officers showed up, and between the group, they took the shooter down. And as soon as the shooter was down, my teammates, especially Brad Wenstrup, came out and saved my life again by applying a tourniquet and just getting me ready to get to the emergency room.
A year ago, people were surprised to learn that there were so many congressional baseball practices where there were no security guards. By the grace of God, you, a member of leadership, were here, and so you had the Capitol Police officers whose hat you're wearing right now.
Yeah, I'm going to be wearing their hat tonight and just pay tribute to the great men and women of Capitol Police who risk their lives, just like all of our law enforcement across the country that don't get enough credit for what they do. But I got to see it firsthand. If Dave and Crystal didn't literally risk their lives while being shot at, none of us would be here today. I wouldn't, as well as all my Republican colleagues that run that ball field.
You had a rough year, though. I remember the reports from George Washington Hospital. They didn't think you were going to make it.
Yeah, the first few hours, there were at least 2 times that my surgeons at MedStar said they didn't think I was going to make it through the night. And luckily I did, but then within the next few days I started getting some infections that raised the temperature and really threatened to take me down again. And so, in and out of surgeries. I've had 9 surgeries total, but hopefully they're all done, and they've all been successful at putting me back together.
When months after the shooting, you were able to come back to Congress. How much did it mean to you? They didn't think you were going to make it. Not only did you make it, you went back to work.
One of the most special feelings of my life was when I was able to walk back out onto the House floor.
A hero's welcome.
And just see all my colleagues, Republican and Democrat, and, the warm standing ovation they gave to me. And, for months I had been seeing some of them at the hospital, getting text messages of support. But to just be there on my own, and to be able to participate again like that, I didn't think I would have that day. There were times when I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do that.
It was a year ago today that Nancy Pelosi was right up there being interviewed, and she and the speaker were talking about how everybody was on Team Scalise.
Yeah, and they all wore LSU hats, my alma mater, and that was, I saw the picture of everybody, Republican and Democrat, saying a prayer at second base before the game.
Right.
And that really was another warm, special thing that was done.
Right. You have been, over the last year, working your best to get back to a good state of health, and you're able to walk now. You're going to start at second base.
I earned the starting job back again. Look, that was great, but it tells you how bad the talent level is that a guy like me who can barely walk out there right now can make it. But I can field balls, and I can still make the throw to first.
Right. How hard, though, is it to go back to the field where so much bad happened a year ago today?
I closed that chapter a long time ago, and luckily I've been able to focus on all the good. Just as the prayers, the warmth of people all across the country. Back home in my district in southeast Louisiana, the prayer vigils that people held. But then to hear stories from my colleagues around the country of people that were praying for me that I don't even know, that really lifts you up. I got a chance to speak with President Trump yesterday. We talked a little bit about this, and he was wonderful throughout the whole thing, just, you know, coming to the hospital, calling to check on me. So just to see that kind of outpouring of people all around. Benjamin Netanyahu called me from the hospital. A great friend, a great leader, you know, of Israel, but he cared and called and checked on me. Bono from U2. You know, so
Bono,
just all of those.
Bono has your phone number?
Bono, I don't have his, but he's got mine, and he called. And he said prayers for me. And, you know, just to see that kind of warmth, it just lifts you up through the dark and tough times. You know, for me and my whole family, it was a rough period, but we also got to see the good in people. And you know, all across America, this is a great country. It's great people. You usually see the bad, you know, and the focus is on the food fights and the things that we disagree on. But there was so much good that I got to see and experience that helped me get through it.
You know, talking about the food fights, over on the third base side are the Democrats. And, you know,
those guys.
During the week, you know, you guys do not get along so much, except at this game. This is the one partisan event every year where people actually love to come.
It really
is.
It's
fun.
It's fun. You know, we passed this great historic tax cuts bill. It's working. You know, they should vote for, by the way, tax cuts 2.0.
A little louder. I don't think they can hear you.
Yeah, not one of them voted for the last one, but now it's actually working. Maybe they've seen the light. Yeah. I don't know if they've got the ability to, but tonight we got to beat them. We'll raise over $500,000 for local kids charities here in D.C., but it's a great event that brings Republicans and Democrats together to compete against each other, but to really show that we can actually unite behind something. I think
through the history of the game, the Republicans are up by 2. So you do have a 2-game margin. You mentioned the President of the United States. Today's his birthday.
Yeah, and happy birthday, President Trump. I mean, he's a great friend. He's a great leader. Look at what he just came off of, these historic talks with North Korea's leader, and the fact that President Trump was able to get an agreement for North Korea to denuclearize. And clearly, there's a lot of work to be done to ultimately make that happen. But the fact that you had a President of the United States get that kind of agreement from Kim Jong-un is truly historic. And so, you know, to be able to talk to him and, you know, about this game and some other stuff.
Did you invite him?
I invited him. We'll see if he can come. You know, he's probably got jet lag. I know he's like nonstop. I don't know if he ever sleeps, but I hope he has a happy birthday celebration this evening.
Yeah. Speaking of the news of the day, what about this immigration bill?
Yeah, we're working really hard to get an agreement amongst Republicans, and our main goals are, number one, secure the border, fund the president's wall. By the way, happy birthday, Mr. President. We've got to get you that $25 billion for the wall. But then close the loopholes. There are so many interior loopholes where Secretary Nielsen of Homeland Security, in many cases, can't even deport somebody who committed a felony in America when they get out of jail. They have to get permission from the country that they came from. And so those are the things we've got to fix. Fix DACA, but get rid of chain migration and these visa lotteries. There's a way we can do it. We're trying to get that done.
Okay. I know some on the political right go, we don't like that suggestion. It seems like a big amnesty giveaway.
There's no amnesty, and one of the things we're doing is there are legal parts of our immigration system that are deeply broken, and I referenced that lottery system. I mean, right now, legally, America plucks names out of a hat, 55,000 a year, that we let in from countries, in many cases, that don't like us. Let's end that program and go to a merit-based system where you're completely shifting away from the visa lotteries and the chain migration system, which is one of the most broken forms of legal immigration, and go to a merit-based system. You want to come to this country, come to actually contribute and make it better.
Good morning.
Look here.
Do I get to
Hey, Rand, how are you doing?
It's Rand Paul was here.
He was
a
out there
year
last
ago
year at the game, too.
When the shooting started, and it's hard to believe he's back.
We are glad to have Steve back, and what a miracle, and God bless America.
Oh, Rand's a doctor. He knows how bad it was, and appreciate your support.
No, absolutely. It's great to have you back, and none of us will ever forget that day. It was a real tragedy. So.
Oh, you're good. All right. Guys, thank you very much.
Steve, great being with you.